Edgar, the biological son of millionaire Alexander, always tries to prove himself to gain his father's recognition. When assigned to manage a loss-making branch, Edgar successfully revives the company with the help of Olivia, a smart cleaner. To cooperate with a new partner, Edgar needed a wife, and he chose Olivia. Thanks to Olivia's support, Edgar has signed an important contract. Later, he learns the truth about his identity and protects Olivia from Alexander's insults. Edgar grew up in a millionaire family, but he was unhappy since he was a child. His father, an unreasonable and tough man, restrained him in everything, did not allow unnecessary spending, and suppressed all mischief. Even the most innocent pranks were promptly punished, instantly. He always kept an eye on Elizabeth's mother, preventing her from spoiling her son. Edgar went to an ordinary, modest school and was no different from his peers, most of whom came from ordinary families. Edgar was Elizabeth's son from her unsuccessful first marriage. For Elizabeth, this second marriage was not a favorable one, because at that time her new husband was not yet rich and had just spent his formative years in the business world. Although he loved his wife very much, Elizabeth's new husband never accepted Edgar as his own son. Every day, he blamed himself for being too strict and promised not to nag anymore. But then it happened again and again. Alexander constantly criticized and belittled Edgar's every achievement, always demanding more. Throughout his childhood, Edgar tried to gain praise and bring joy and pride to Alexander, but every time he only received criticism. Elizabeth quietly witnessed her son's futile efforts, but did not intervene because she had accepted her husband's tough personality. Edgar did not know that he was not Alexander's biological son, and always hoped that one day he would be able to win his father's trust. From childhood, Edgar still remembers his father's constant reproaches, and even his mother's immense love could not ease this bitterness. Even when Edgar was 25 years old and had graduated from a prestigious school, the High School of Economics, Alexander still paid no attention to him and did not believe in his abilities. One day, after a long period of persistent persuasion, Alexander decided to give Edgar a chance. Edgar had to perform the duties of director of one of the subsidiaries for 3 months, but business there was not very good. The young man almost jumped for joy and promised to try his best to get the company out of the crisis. He was very happy with the trust given, but had no idea how bad things were at the branch. The reality is that the office is losing money. The human resources department is constantly struggling with turnover. The workload is piling up, and employees are leaving, placing responsibility on the hunched shoulders of remaining colleagues. Edgar arrives at the office with a bright smile, a pile of files, and a perfectly tailored suit. The young man understood roughly what he would face, but wished to prove to his father that he was more valuable than he thought. First, Edgar talked to employees, and then analyzed each person's productivity to nudge everyone in the right direction. Edgar was able to inspire employees to demonstrate their best qualities. With others, he demanded absolute compliance, and with still others, he was soft and friendly. The new head won the trust of the employees. Even the veterans, initially skeptical about the young man's appointment, and openly betting on how long he would last, became silent. Edgar's plan to bring the company out of the crisis gradually becomes reality. On the way to his goal, Edgar has only one loyal and cheerful companion, which is Olivia. The girl worked as a cleaner and knew all the staff well. Olivia is a pleasant and friendly person. Everyone wants to listen to her. Edgar is also drawn to her, and in her company he finds solace after his failures. Edgar only knows that she studied for 3 years at the economics department, then quit school. "You always listen to me," Edgar once said softly when the office worker went home, "and I don't know anything about you. If you need any help, please let me know and I will try to help in any way I can." "Only a miracle can help my situation," Olivia replied. "My mother is sick at home and needs surgery, so I have to go to work. The salary here is much higher than where I worked before, and the schedule is convenient. Dad passed away a few years ago. Then our problems started. My mother was sick and I quit school to take care of her. That's the story." "I'm sorry that you have to face everything alone. You are very strong." Edgar was confused. He didn't know Olivia had such problems, and felt sad because she was so young and fragile. "I do not take back my words, and I am ready to help as you are helping me. That's what I like about you. You're not arrogant at all, as one would expect knowing that the boss's son will be heading the branch." After such important conversations, which last long after the workday ends, they feel a certain connection. They didn't become best friends overnight, but every morning entering the building, Edgar felt inexplicable joy when he saw Olivia's smiling face. Despite not having a degree, Olivia is well versed in economics and gives sound advice. When he saw that she was tired, Edgar tried to relieve her of some of her obligations, but she flatly refused. Olivia doesn't want to be obligated to anyone and takes advantage of her boss's kindness. Meanwhile, things at this subsidiary are gradually getting better. Edgar not only maintained the business, but also led it to success. Alexander followed his son's work all the time, was initially skeptical about Edgar's venture, but had to admit that he did very well. Edgar worked tirelessly, did not take care of himself, often had to stay up late and spend the night at the office, but the results were worth it, and Alexander decided to test his son again. Alexander contacted Edgar via video call and announced that he had found a new partner, promising huge profits. Alexander presents the news sarcastically, doubting Edgar's ability to complete the deal. He was especially pleased with the confused look on Edgar's face, inwardly delighted that he had found a way to put him in his place. The new partner is Mr. Wilson, famous for his cold temper. Only the strongest and most calculating businessmen can become his companions. Edgar does not flatter himself, despite his achievements. He realized there were still many unknown and impossible things to do. He was not afraid of his father's threats, believing that his father was intentionally testing him. Since the company's financial indicators achieved success, everything has changed. The atmosphere within the team became friendlier, and Edgar was no longer eager to win. All he cares about is the company's development. Mr. Wilson, known as an exemplary family man and father of 3, prefers to do business with married businessmen, believing that a man who cares about his family will treat his business well. Career in the same way. Edgar understood that and knew that for a successful partnership, he needed a wife. But the only person on his mind was Olivia. He felt warm and comfortable when he was near her. She gives valuable advice, facilitates any conversation, and has a good sense of the situation, knowing when to keep quiet and when to act. Olivia doesn't show off her intelligence but doesn't hide it either. Knowing that he couldn't find a better candidate, Edgar asked Olivia to play the role of his wife in negotiations with the businessman. She was confused at first, but then laughed happily at the situation, like a scene from a play. Realizing that Edgar needed help, Olivia agreed. In the days before the business dinner, they discussed manners and practiced a lot, so as not to get into awkward situations before the wise Mr. Wilson. Day X arrived, and at the appointed time, the couple arrived at the restaurant. Olivia wore a luxurious white suit, emphasizing her fragility, and her appearance attracting all the eyes of the gentlemen at the party. Edgar is very nervous, and Olivia tries to draw attention to herself to calm him down. Initially, the conversation did not flow smoothly. Mr. Wilson was silent and did not hide his skepticism about the idea. But as the gentlemen were ordering, the ladies quickly found common ground, and the conversation became heated. Olivia began discussing social news in a relaxed, joking tone, and occasionally held Edgar's hand, helping him gain control. Eventually, Edgar calmed down and proudly admired Olivia's communication skills. The laid-back girl even made a few reasonable suggestions, earning Mr. Wilson's interest and praise. Olivia skillfully avoided sharp corners and discreetly emphasized Edgar's leadership when asked about her involvement in her husband's business. She replied that she was just a reliable rearguard. Edgar looked at Olivia with loving eyes and joked that she was humble, that without her, he would lose faith in himself. After dinner, Mr. Wilson signed a cooperation agreement. He liked Edgar's wife and the young couple, although Edgar had little experience, was very good at business, and the joint project promised good profits. When Alexander heard about this deal, he could not bear it, and in the morning went to the office to find out how his son could make a contract with Mr. Wilson. Edgar did not hide his triumphant smile and introduced Olivia to his father, calling her his guardian angel. Alexander was angry when he learned that an uneducated cleaner had entered into negotiations with a respectable businessman and began to express his discontent without choosing his words. But for the first time in his life, Edgar resolutely blocked all his father's attacks. "Dad, stop it now. I've put up with you enough over the years. Mom told me everything yesterday, and now I know that I am not your biological son, but I still love and respect you. Thank you for what you have given me, Dad, and I have left all the bad things in the past. But I won't leave Olivia." Edgar held Olivia's hand and confidently looked at his father and continued, "She was sent from above and will be my wife, and I will not let anyone, not even you, hurt her or speak ill of her." Edgar's words awakened something in Alexander's soul, arousing a deep sense of guilt and regret. Alexander realized he had made a mistake and sincerely apologized for any offense. Edgar hugged his father and said he had forgiven everything a long time ago, only asking to accept Olivia and her family. Olivia's mother was operated on by the best doctors and quickly recovered, delighted by her daughter's happiness. After the wedding, Olivia returned to university and continued to study economics. Edgar still holds the highest position in the company, and no one doubts his ability. The story of Edgar and Olivia is an inspiring tale of perseverance, kindness, and true love. It shows that no matter where we come from, we can overcome difficulties and achieve success if we have enough determination and support. Edgar, despite growing up in a rich but unhappy family, always strives to prove his worth. He does not give up in the face of criticism and challenges, but always finds ways to overcome and learn from them. Olivia, despite facing difficult circumstances, still maintains her optimism and spirit of helping others. She is not only a cleaner, but also a friend, an advisor, and ultimately Edgar's lover. The story also emphasizes the importance of seeing others through more than just appearance or social status. Alexander underestimated Olivia because of her work, but it was she who played an important role in Edgar's success. However, the story also has some points worth pondering. Alexander's behavior towards Edgar was somewhat excessive and deeply hurt his son. Although he eventually realized his mistake, the years of unfair treatment left scars in Edgar's heart. In short, the story of Edgar and Olivia is a beautiful and meaningful story, bringing many valuable lessons about life. It reminds us that success comes not only from talent and luck, but also from effort, kindness, and love.